Good morning. Good Friday morning. It's almost afternoon, Laura May. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining me on the Martini Glass. I'm so super excited to have you join me and talk about all the things we're going to talk about today. So,
Yay.
go ahead. This
Yes.
happens.
Yes. Well, I'm Laura May, and I'm the owner of No Self Services, which is KNOW, meaning you know yourself. But
Oh,
it's
wow.
also a take on the idea of having no self. So
Mm.
the idea that when we let go of all the parts of ourselves that we think we identify with, then there's what's left. It's the essence or the truth of who we really are. And I have a coaching branch of No Self, which is called Hot for Success.
I love that.
And I'm all things joy. I love talking about
Yeah.
joy. What is it? Where do we get it? How do we get more? How do we stay there?
Yeah. That's fantastic. I remember when we met at a networking event. And hearing you speak and introducing yourself and sitting in those little breakout rooms, I was intrigued by the joy and the light that you brought, to the room and your positivity about and everything neuroscience, which like I am a knowledge seeker and I'm all about the facts. And when you started talking about neuroscience and the adaptability of neuroscience and what how we journal and what we journal, I was like, I need to know more about this Laura May, and I need to talk to her more in depth about all of these things because it is so important and so relevant beyond. I think we can get trapped into the woohoo-ness of, journaling and acceptance and having some kind of tangible neuroscience behind it, at least for me. And I know a lot of women like me allows us to move forward through that and be able to put it into practice. So, thank you for sharing that. And I look forward to diving a little bit deeper into that with you today.
Yay.
Eh, so, you have spent 25 years working in mental health and addictions. When did you feel throughout that tenure that you needed something different for yourself?
Well, honestly, it never really started at a particular moment. I mean, career wise, I would say
Mm,
to answer that question, it would be that I mean, I always wanted to give back. I became a social worker as I was serving as an educational assistant. I found that I was noticing the students in the hallway that were crying,
mm,
and I loved the students I was serving, but I really wanted to know what was going on for them emotionally. And I went through a lot of dark times when I was little and have had a lot of loss in my young life and a lot of upheaval. So I had an extra awareness of the human condition, as it were.
yeah.
And so when I pursued social work as a career, it made sense to do a Master of Social Work because it was this beautiful degree in learning about how to really support people individually in groups with families, but also at a sociological larger level.
Mm,
And part of what's wonderful, I mean, I love social work, and part of what's so wonderful about social work is that we go big vision and then we come back down to the micro level. So we're able to see the cosmological issues and bring it right back down. And my brain fits really well with that. So I always, from teeny weeny, when I was going
mhm,
through the tiny age and going through these living with folks that just seem so upset all the time, I always wanted to figure out how can we prevent this because it never felt natural for us to be so miserable.
yeah.
It didn't feel natural to me. It felt like something was missing. And
Mhm,
so in social work, I was able to serve in the ways that truly fit, and I wanted to prevent.
right.
I wanted to be able to really find out the why behind it. And so I always was a bit radical. I call myself a radical social worker because I was always looking for things that were a little bit on the out and out. Meditation. I was studying meditation at the University of Toronto in 2007, and there were only 5 people in the class.
Right.
I mean, you wouldn't ever be able to get into one of these classes now.
No.
So I go back to my workplace, and they all thought, what is wrong with this woman? She wants us to ask the students to meditate. It was a big, weird deal. So I
Hmm.
always was about 3 steps ahead. So there was the traditional therapeutic model is very important, but it tends to be about what's happened. And I really wanted to see, what if we could prevent? What if we could prognosticate? What if we could work with a model where we were evoking something to help us when life did happen, but not have it go so extremely
Hmm.
that that we couldn't rein it back in. What if we could actually enjoy ourselves as we lived our up and down of our life, build resilience in. So, Hot for Success and No Self Services, the coaching branch of No Self Services, is all about being able to go that extra mile with folks, to be able to go
Right.
just a little bit further and to tap into that human potential component.
Right. I want to lean back on the radical services because you had mentioned that when we were together, and it was the meditation, but that whole idea of offering radical services or stepping outside the box for you, was that something you were doing for yourself and you saw the positive?
Absolutely.
Okay, and then you were
Absolutely.
able to,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. It's, I don't know which came first, the
Hmm.
chicken or the egg. Uh, I really don't. I don't know if that, I found it and then I needed to bring it. It felt like it all came at once, and then
Hmm.
it was, I couldn't turn back. And then
Yeah,
it's just been go, go, go time ever since.
yeah, yeah. So in these radical services beyond meditation, what other service offerings did you bring that people were like, oh no, this isn't going to
What's that?
happen? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, gratitude and joy. I know that
Yeah.
sounds, it's pretty amazing that is radical, but it is. When I was, I remember setting up a gratitude wall because quite a few years ago now, there was a whole movement on putting stickies on the wall. I think it
Yep.
was a innovation center in
Oh yes.
Waterloo,
Yep.
actually,
Yep.
where it was this gratitude on the wall. So I said, let's bring it to the students. So
Yeah.
I actually had to teach what gratitude was
Hmm.
in order to be able to have them know what to write on the wall. And
Yeah.
that was shocking for me. I
Hmm.
realized, oh my goodness, people actually don't know what gratitude is. And then just how powerful it is in people's lives. So I just kept encouraging
Yeah.
folks to practice it. And it takes humility to be grateful.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so there's a really a quite profound shift that you see in folks when they remember it. It's not that they don't have humility or they don't have gratitude. It's not, if it isn't practiced or it isn't discussed, encouraged in their day-to-day lives, they don't even know where it went, or they don't know how to
Right.
utilize it.
Yeah.
So, yes, that was considered radical. I was considered the joy girl, and people didn't understand. They thought it was actually almost threatening because I
Oh,
was so happy. Yeah,
yeah.
because it must be what's she up to?
What is she up
It's not
to?
possible.
It's not possible to be that happy all the time, right? But and you're right, it's that understanding what gratitude is and its impact on your day to day allows you to move through your journey in a different way. It's fascinating. It's something that I've been trying to implement in my day to day, and I have a hard time doing that. So in your practice as a coach, like how do you get women or leaders to implement that gratitude piece into their day and reframe their mindset about the importance of it?
Well, we start simply in the sense that if someone has never really practiced gratitude or asked themselves, or they've thought it was kind of silly or
Mhm.
way too simple to work as profoundly as it actually does, we start simply and generally, and we talk about how the littlest things are the most important. And if we were to miss them, like if they
Mhm.
were to leave our lives, what would we feel like? And so it's always an invitation. And then it's let's just go general. Let's just go simple and general to start, and just start with a couple, noticing a couple of things that you're you have in your life that if you didn't have it, that you would miss. So
Mhm.
something like hot water in the morning, in the
Right.
shower. You turn your hot water on, and it's just a regular occurrence for a lot of folks in our, let's say, Ontario, Canada. Let's hope that everybody has hot water to choose from. And if it was cold, you
Mhm.
would definitely recognize that that was something that you're grateful for, that
It's true.
you have
Yep.
gratitude. Or your bed, you woke up in the morning and you were on the floor,
Yeah.
your bed had disappeared, you would be grateful for your bed. And
Yeah.
so it is that simple, and we start there.
Wow,
So
it's
we start with
fascinating.
very
Yeah.
general. Or right now, we're all grateful for today. It's sunny,
Yes.
and it might be a cold day sun, but it's sun.
It's fun.
So when
Yeah.
we haven't had it, we realize, oh my goodness, that the feeling of the sun on our faces. So it doesn't have to be, uh, you know, it doesn't have to be complicated, and it doesn't mean that we condone behaviors that are inappropriate, or we're grateful for everything. Well, not necessarily, but we're acknowledging what life has brought us,
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
expecting it. And
Yeah.
it's a mind shift. It's a mindset shift. It's an attitude adjustment, really.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And you're right, like the simple concept of having hot water when our hot water heater goes off and we step into a cold shower in the morning, it does make you grateful for having a working and functioning hot water tank. So, yeah, very, very important to start small and go from there and be just mindful of what we have in our everyday. Yeah.
And
It's
and
beautiful.
people wonder, why do you have to acknowledge it? Like, why can't you just be grateful?
Yeah.
Why put pen to paper? Because we part of the work that I do is encouraging folks to write pen and paper, write their gratitude, what they're grateful for
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
And it's not just thinking about it, but it makes it tangible. It's like a tangible shift where you're
Yeah.
taking the time to put your pen to paper and state what it is that you have received,
Yeah.
and that you're great, feeling it, feeling the gratitude, feeling the appreciation for what life has brought you.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we write it down as well in the guided joy book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's hop into the guided joy book, and we'll talk
Okay.
about your joy journal, essentially as part of your signature framework. Um, the whole concept of the neuroscience behind that, was that an original statement from like your social work practice, or was that something that came in that radical lessons
Well,
learned?
it was actually, well, gratitude, from a like the neuroscience or the neuroplasticity. There's more and more research being done, and more scientific understanding that gratitude shifts your wellness. It creates a health and a vibrancy in your life that you really don't have if you don't have gratitude. But when I first started with the Joy Journal, way back, it feels like now, we didn't really have the neuroplasticity research the same way. So
Right.
that wasn't the
Mm.
lead. It was more of the practice of it and how much it was working anecdotally. So it
Mhm.
was, I was using it, I was learning it through some of the business practices I was doing. And then just anecdotally, people were creating their own joy journals, and noticing that when they focused on the things that were working in their life, that they were starting to feel better.
Mhm. Yeah. The There's one thing I want to lean in about, like the concept of journaling. Uh,
Yes.
and how it doesn't have to be neat or perfect.
Oh
It just
gosh, no.
means, yeah. So let's kind of dive into that, because I know someone like myself, or like an executive or a leader, it's all about when you put pen to paper, it's got to be something sophisticated, right? And grammatical. And there's got to be like connected thoughts behind it. But that's not the reality of journaling,
No,
is it?
my goodness, no. And I'm so glad you asked that, because that actually became apparent to me when my aunt asked me about it. She had started working her joy journal, and she was writing it like we were taught back in the day, where you, when you journaled, you put dear diary or dear journal, and you
Yes.
put a date,
Yeah.
and it was in paragraph form,
Yes.
and then you signed it, and it's great. It was a great, I mean, we all remember doing it, so it was a
Yep.
good practice. But with this, and what we're learning is that it's creativity. So what I love about the joy journal is that it has both the left and the right brain balancing, because when we're
Mm.
writing, it's a creative process. It if we're free flowing, but if we're writing our goal, or we're very specific on what we're writing, it can be very much scientific, or
Right.
from that perspective, or from that part of the brain. So when we put the two together, then we're actually doing a balancing.
Hmm.
And when it comes to the creative flow aspect of joy journaling, you can do it any way you want. You could draw pictures, symbols. You can just be listening to a gratitude meditation and doodling and playing while you're listening. It's the bringing yourself, your internal self, your whole self, your awareness self, to the paper and expressing yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we have the mind map, which is an example of how you can do it really quickly. So you put thank you in the middle of your page, and you put a circle around it, and then you
Hmm.
make bubbles, free flow bubbles,
Yeah.
open circles, and then you just put what you're grateful for in there. So if you only
Yeah.
have a few minutes, you could put thank you in the middle of the page, and then around it you could put six circles, and then put, water and birds and sunshine and,
Yeah.
laughter,
Yep.
smiles in those bubbles, and you're done.
You're done.
Like you took the time.
Hmm.
Whatever comes, it could just be that you went on a wonderful vacation, and there were some themes that you'd like to put symbols of that
Hmm.
into your joy journal. The
Yeah.
whole point of it is you're shifting your attitude, and you're shifting the choice of focusing on what it is that's working in your life,
Hmm.
that focusing on the good,
Yeah. Yeah.
and focusing on receiving, and the acknowledgement of receiving
Yeah. Yeah.
is
I
is
love
the
that.
practice.
Yeah. The acknowledgement of receiving. I think that needs
Mhm.
to be put on a mug or a t-shirt. There's your new swag. There's your
There you
new
go.
swag. So
Yes.
when you deal with like clients who are kind of set in their ways and you're trying to get them to this practice of journaling, has there been a hard truth that you've had to tell them as to their hesitance might be leading them to if they don't at least give this practice a try?
Well, resistance is natural, but it's
Hmm.
the root of all suffering.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
So when we resist, something in us is showing up to show us that there's a block in there, or
Hmm.
something keeping us where we are. So I'll just, yes, gently, and maybe with a little bit of a giggle or a humor, say, well, do you want, what do you want? Do you actually want it? Because if you don't soften and release the resistance, you're probably not going to get it. So we
Hmm.
need to make a decision here. So
Yeah.
how to release resistance? Again, it's going general. Start with the general, because
Yeah.
someone who's starting with, I, this is a new practice for me. I've not really considered it before. Their resistance is probably going to be a little bit more intensified or intense. So you start general. Well, can you debate with me that you're grateful for the trees?
Yeah.
So we talk about, are the trees something that you would be resistant to agreeing that that's a good idea? The
Yeah.
earth has trees,
Right.
because we kind of need them. If we didn't have them, we would not be here,
Right. Be
because they
here.
keep all of our
Exactly.
air. Uh, but it's that resistance comes from a place of ego, right? And we all
Okay.
have ego, we have personality, we have
Yeah.
ego, and the need to be right and the need to mentally prove something.
Hmm.
It comes from the ego. The difficulty with the ego, though, is it actually is designed to be survival based.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
when we're surviving, we're not we're running from the predator, as it were.
Yeah.
We're either running or we're hiding, we're fighting back. So the survival brain is on, the ego is on, vice
Right.
versa. It's the same. Okay. And so when we're in survival, we're not stopping and asking, hi, neighbor, good to see you. I'm on my way to the store. Would you like me to pick you up something from the store while I'm there? We're not stopping and asking our neighbors
No,
if they
we're
need anything.
just,
We're like,
yeah.
get out of my
Yeah.
way. I have to save myself.
Yeah.
So humans are wired for survival first. The negative bias is part of the survival wiring. And the survival wiring is coming from the ego and survival are hand in
Connected.
hand.
Yeah.
So what gratitude does is you can't be grateful and running from a saber-toothed tiger at the same time. So
True.
when you're in gratitude, like thank you trees for being here, you soften and you move into a place of faith and trust in
Mm.
life.
Right.
That's why we practice gratitude. That's why we want to release that resistance, because resistance is pushing against life
Right.
and arguing for limitations.
Yep.
And gratitude opens our heart, opens our connectedness, moves us out of the drama triangle and into this, oh, neighbor, how can I help?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
true. It's true. Yeah. Resistance, I think with resistance, and, I come from a place of resistance and the fear of,
So do I.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah. And it leads you to come up with excuses as to why, right?
Yep.
As to why you can't do it, right? Because there's a fear that comes with something as simple as putting pen to paper. And this goes back to what you were saying, that we were so um and like, oh my gosh, and brain fart. We were trained, is what I'm saying, is we were trained to, if we're going to put something to paper, we have to formalize it. Dear diary, dear journal, I am writing you today because of blah blah blah. And when you take that away from it, right, and you take that excuses away from it, you kind of step into this courageousness of entering into a different reframed mindset about the possibilities of, right,
Yes,
everything.
and I love that you said it was programming or conditioning or teaching. Think about the fear that
Hmm.
was instilled in
Yeah.
the student if she didn't dot her I's and cross her T's.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just fear of the teacher giving you a B minus, but it was fear of the students in the class that were going to look at you sideways if you weren't conforming.
Correct.
And so that's fear.
Hmm.
So our
Yeah.
resistance is coming from lots of different angles. And so
Yes.
when we start to realize that when we move into a place of gratitude and the energy that is the same as gratitude, so that connection with life again, that feeling of being safe just by existing, just by, I am enough because I am enough. When
Yeah.
we are coming from that place, then we start to deconstruct the fear based messaging of you're only good enough if you dot your I's and cross your T's. You're only good enough if you are, accepted by your community. You're only good enough if
Right.
the expectations of your worth are removed. And
Right.
then you actually meet yourself before the conditioning. You
Right.
meet who you actually really are. And that's where that creative flow,
Yeah.
it truly allows that creative flow to come forth. And the
Yeah.
truth of who you really were the whole time. It's like, I don't know if you know the story of the golden Buddha. The
No.
story of the golden Buddha is that it was covered in clay.
Mm,
The persons that had the golden Buddha covered it in clay to hide it. So for many, many, many years, all thought that this was just a clay Buddha. But underneath, it was gold,
mm,
solid, this giant, beautiful Buddha, solid gold. And that after a while, the clay would chip away and people could see the little bits of gold shining through these layers of clay.
right.
That's us.
Mm,
We are the golden Buddha mired in the muck of the illusion and the half truths that have been told to us of who we are. And
yeah.
so, what we do in this work, and I know, yes, gratitude is the key, and the energies that come along, all the family, cousins to gratitude, they chip the clay away and we shine. We're able to
Yeah.
actually truly live from a place of who we were the whole
Yeah.
time before we
Yeah.
got covered in the muck of it all.
So essentially, the clay is akin to a limiting belief that's covered your potential, right?
Yes. And where do
Yeah.
we get our limiting beliefs from?
I don't know. You tell me, Laura. Where do we get our limiting beliefs from? Oh,
Family, right? Society,
yeah.
systems, marketing,
Yeah.
anything that is like fear wants two things. It's either wants customers or
Mm,
company.
right.
So if you're feeling fearful, there's either customers, somebody's wanting you as a customer, or somebody's wanting you as company. So
Yeah.
it's perpetuated by those two.
Right.
So when we can challenge, where is this coming from? What is feeding this? What illusionary idea of myself or the rest of the world feeding this fear? If I understand the root of my fear, then I actually can turn toward it, face it, and challenge it. Say, okay, tell me again why I should feel so awful about myself. Like, let's hear that again.
Yeah.
And chances are it turns from a big monster down to a teeny weeny little
Teeny.
pipsqueak of a
Right.
thing.
Right. In your own practice, in your own journey, has there been a limiting belief that you've worked through yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I think that it's like I don't know if there's such thing as getting to a place where we don't have any.
Hmm.
I think that what happens is that we need to be diligent on the clearing. I like to think of the analogy of getting a house ready for winter. We go around
Mm,
the perimeter of the home and we look for all the holes to fill with steel wool so the mice can't get in.
right.
So the mice are always looking to get in to the house, to the foundation, because it's warm
Right.
and it's comfortable. And that's a great place. And it's got lots of really cozy blankets. Like I am moving in there. We don't want the mice in our house because when they get in, what happens? There's not just one of them.
Right.
The mouse decides to get with another mouse and boom, before you know it, your houses run rampant with mice.
Hmm.
And so it's the same with limiting beliefs. We have to be going around the perimeter of ourselves and looking for the ways in which the limiting beliefs, if we've cleared them or we've challenged them or we've considered the truth, the root of the truth of it, and find that there is no truth to that limiting belief, the only way to continue to remove them is to make sure you close those holes so they can't
Hmm.
get in. But every once in a while, it doesn't matter how well you've put that steel wool in those holes, something's going to get in there. And so it's not a matter of not having a limiting belief come in and out of your experience. It's what you do with it when you notice it's there. And
Yeah.
that's why something like the joy journal every day is imperative, is because you are getting out that steel wool, you're removing, and then you're getting the steel wool out to try and make sure that the limiting beliefs stay out. So no, I limiting beliefs, it's like thoughts are things, so they're going to come into my experience and out of my experience and into my,
Right.
but because we actually become what we think about, we need to notice
Hmm.
and we challenge, and we to say, hasta la vista, bye bye, no.
Yeah.
So no, we all, if a human tells you, I don't
That they
have any
have not.
limiting beliefs, run for the hills,
That's a red flag. That's a red flag.
because that's impossible
Yeah.
in our culture. Okay, it
Yeah.
just is. And so it's not that you don't have them, it's that you are much more aware of them, and you're willing to be humble enough to admit that you've got a mouse infestation and you need to do a clean out.
Yeah.
You need to figure it out, and you need help. Sometimes you need to get the extra helpers to come in, and everybody gets some steel wool out.
Yeah.
We don't have to do it alone.
No.
But we have to do it. And why would we do it alone? I mean, it's so much more fun to challenge each other than it is to try and
Absolutely.
do it all by ourselves.
Absolutely. In working through addressing the limiting beliefs and working through the concept of journaling, do you think that aligns you in your practice and your own personal experience? Would that get you to a place of, I don't want to say alignment and purpose, but at least clarity in who you are and what you want to do with your life, essentially?
Yes, well, three parts of the Joy Journal. So, Guided Joy is a rebrand of the. We started with the three parts of the Joy Journal.
Hmm.
The three parts of the Joy Journal are wanting, like allowing ourselves to finally want again. So, really taking the lid off of our wanting. And then it's from that wanting, getting a really clear message as to for ourselves as to what it is that our goal would be.
Hmm.
So, really narrowing down the themes, understanding what our goal would be from that. And then that's something that we look at every day. What is my goal and why?
And
And how
why?
does it
Yeah.
feel in
Yeah.
present tense? How does it feel when I now have it?
Hmm.
So it's really getting clear on what it is that you're working toward. Because when we have something to work toward, we jump out of bed in the morning ready to work toward our goal.
Yeah.
If you fall in love with somebody, nobody has to remind you to text that person.
True.
No one has to remind you that you want to spend time with them or do. So it's the same with our goal. If it's the right goal for you, no one has to remind you to work toward it. It
Right.
just automatically happens, and you actually feel pretty hot for it. You're
Yeah.
pretty excited about it, and you're jumping out of bed. Okay, today I get to work toward my goal.
Yeah.
And so we're writing our goal, considering our goal. We also think about how we're giving back. So goals aren't just to get. It's always to give. And so
Hmm.
getting very clear on our service, why we're
Hmm.
here, what our special gift is, and it could be just about anything.
Yeah.
And then our gratitude and our appreciation,
Yeah.
and taking the time to really not just to be grateful, but to appreciate the way in which we're being loved in the world. And then our personal affirmations, which are the
Mm.
limiting belief component. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for asking. So when we have a limiting belief or a mouse in the house, as it were, we need to take a good look at that and write it down. And we don't write that in our joy journal. The only thing that goes in the joy journal are things that feel good in a healthy way. We
Mm.
write the limiting beliefs on, a piece of paper that we're not going to keep.
Mm.
And we sometimes you have to do lists and lists of them because they're pretty insidious.
Yeah.
And especially if we're going through a tough time, let's say our confidence is shattered, or somebody challenges us our integrity, or we're misunderstood and somebody's interpreted our integrity differently from how we believe our integrity to be. That can be really hard. We want to be accepted by our community. That's
Yeah.
normal and natural part of being human. So it can derail us, and then we can get these thoughts.
Yeah.
So it's taking a pen and writing them all down, like all the things. I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I messed up, that I did this, I did the shame, the guilt, the anger, resentment, whatever it is, get it all out. And then in the personal affirmations, we take if we can't just remove it, if we can't figure out what we would like to say nicely to ourselves, we just take the one that is currently there. I'm not good enough. and we just write the opposite
Yeah.
into our joy journal.
Sure.
So
I love
I'm
that.
not good enough turns into I'm more than enough. And we write that in our journal. And then when we're done with the big long diatribe of all the negative and the distorted thoughts, because there can be a lot of them,
Yeah.
we rip them up. We let them go. We say, nope, not interested in thinking that way anymore. That probably wasn't even true. And what do we have left? We have this beautiful journal full of who we either are working towards feeling
Mm.
like or what's true for us for now.
Yeah.
We don't have to believe in what we're writing yet. It's funny, people get stuck on that.
Yeah.
They think
Yeah.
they have to believe in it. You don't have to. Well, when you learned the ABCs,
Hmm.
you did not have to believe in them.
Right.
You just had to repeat them. So, it's time spaced repetition. Read the same thing, write the same thing, consider the same thing over and over and over again. Eventually, it sinks into what we call the subconscious mind, which
Mm.
is the emotional mind. And that we are actually run mostly by our subconscious, not our conscious mind. If our subconscious mind is full of things that aren't true, we have to somehow find them, remove them, and replace them with what we do want to think.
Right.
So if I might not believe that I'm enough yet, but I want to believe I'm enough, I want to be thinking I am enough. So I'm going to write that in my journal and I'm going to consider that as many times as I need to until they're so in my head, like the ABCs, that you can't get them back out.
Get them out. Yeah. Love that. I love that. You mentioned hot for it. Is that where
Yes.
hot for success came? That you
So,
want to be hot for it?
so I don't know if you ever read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon
Yes.
Hill?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what Napoleon Hill says about being hot for something is that um, he talks about having a burning desire.
Mhm.
Okay. So when we have a burning desire, it's it's something that we're hot for, right? So he said that a burning desire is the starting point of all achievement.
Hmm.
So as I was listening to Think and Grow Rich and Napoleon Hill and Earl Nightingale, and I was doing my own studying and my own programming of myself, what I want to be thinking, it it was actually a shower moment. It was
Those
a
are always
shower
the
moment.
best moments. Yeah.
It's like I was listening to something and I was showering and fitting in my studying because we study every day, and something clicked. I went, oh, so when you have a burning desire, you're hot for your success. You're hot for success, and that was it. That was
That
it.
was it.
And I
I love that
ran to
name.
my Instagram and got it
Yeah.
as quickly as possible because it
Yeah.
was good.
It is good. It's very good. It's like it's one of those things you see it and you're like, what is that all about? And who is this person? And
And
I
it's
need to be
sassy.
following.
I
It's
know.
very sassy. I love that. It was great. I got
So
a
it's
good
it's
chuckle out
it's
of it. Yeah.
actually quite it's sorry if I
No,
interrupted you.
not at all. Go ahead, please.
Um it's quite how do you say sassy, but really if you understand where it comes from, it's
No.
imperative. It's
Yeah.
important that we realize that you can't be convinced not to do it. Chances are, short of it being unhealthy or gluttonous or something, you should be doing it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. It's like, especially as you and I have gotten talking about it, it's like it all kind of aligns and falls into place. And that burning desire to be your best self moving forward through life is so important, and something that I know as we've gotten older, it starts to come to that, prefrontal cortex, right? Of the importance of showing up as who you are versus of all the expectations of the people that love you, but their expectations of them of how you should be versus who you are, right, in
Who
this
you are.
life.
That's
Oh,
right.
absolutely. In your 25 years of clinical work, how has that shaped you showing up as a coach for your clients?
Well, uh, for me, it's the anecdotal research I mean, it's actually, I'm a grad of 2000, so it's 2026 that I
Yeah.
graduated from Wilfrid Laurier, and I was doing the work, before that as well. So it's quite a few years of walking beside folks. And so, from an anecdotal perspective, I mean, as a sociologist, as a social scientist, I'm always pulling information and watching for patterns, watching
Hmm.
for consistency and patterns. And it always comes back down to a person shifts and changes when they realize that it's okay to give themselves permission to live a life that they want to be living.
Hmm.
So my work as a therapist informs me that we all want the same thing. We want to be able to we want to be free.
Yeah.
We don't want to be told what to do. Not completely. And we we want to be able to authentically share who we really are. We want to be accepted by our community, and we want to be authentic. We want to be
Yeah.
safe, and we want to be authentic simultaneously. So my everybody has, I really believe that we all have a definite chief aim in life. We have a purpose,
Hmm.
and there's a reason why we're here on the planet. So I believe that the blueprint in our heart has a code. This is like a code inside our heart, and no one else can read it but us.
Right.
So 25 plus years has informed me that the most important thing we all need to do is find what that code says.
Right.
And if I can help people find their own code and live by it as much as possible, then that raises the frequency of the planet where people are living from a place of joy, whatever they deem joy to be. And they're evoking their own joy and they're living at that place. And that raises the frequency. And, you know, the people who are choosing destructive choices to do destructive things can't stay on a planet when it's at high vibe.
Right.
So ultimately, the more we become aligned with the truth of who we really are, the higher the frequency, the more the destructive energy
Yeah.
has to go. So,
Yeah. No, it's beautiful. It's you've touched upon what I'm going to ask you next, right? And I think it's too good not to be reiterated. But if there's a woman who's built a career in one field and is thinking about blowing it up and starting something new and unsure of, what would you recommend or what would you suggest her to do?
so well, she needs to get clear on those three parts, and she needs to be
Hmm.
looking at those three things every day. It doesn't have to be with guided joy, but she can
Hmm.
do it with her own, notebook. But she needs to ask herself, what do I actually want? Like,
Right.
truly, what do I want? And
Right.
it can be things, it absolutely can be things, but why? What's underneath the things that she wants? I really want to have $1 million in the bank. Well, why? Why do you want $1 million? Well, then I would have the freedom. Oh, so is it the $1 million you want, or is it the freedom? Well,
Hmm.
yeah, I want to have the freedom to be able to go and do the things that I want to do, or give back to my family in the way that I want to give, or give back to my community the way I want to give back. Okay, so why do you want to give back to your community? Well, I've always really felt like I can connect with, and then it really starts to come out. And then she really
Right.
starts, oh, I love the feeling of when I'm doing this, and go deeper, keep asking
Hmm.
why, and then whatever it is that's still there after all those whys, people say, I want to have all this money. Well, if you had a room full of the money, but the money didn't, you couldn't buy anything with that money, it wouldn't be the money you wanted. It would be the
Right.
things and the experiences and the opportunities and the way to give back to your community, the
Hmm.
opportunity to give back to your community,
Hmm.
or whatever that is for
Yeah.
you. So it's not the money, it's what money brings for you. And I'm not telling people what they want and what they don't want when I say it that emphatically and passionately. It's my way. I push buttons to get
Framework.
people thinking. I have no right, and I never do, tell somebody what they're supposed to be doing.
Mm.
However, if someone tells me what they feel is right for them, I will re-say it back to them.
Right.
So I would say if somebody, she does know, she just needs to take that time to really allow herself to go in and ask from that place of inside. And if she needs support to bring that out, I mean, I don't know how. I have had so many I have so many coaches, I have so many therapists, like I have a team, friends, like
Yeah.
because you can't do this. You can't do any work in the world without having support. I mean, that's, if anybody, again, the humans, if anybody says to you, I don't need a coach, I don't need a therapist, I'm good, I just do it all myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's that community. It's the community that it's what is it? A rising tide lifts all ships, right? It's
exactly.
that, yeah, it's that community strength that brings together a lot of wins, a lot of safety, a lot of possibilities, and it allows the clarity to show up. But I also think we need permission to sit in the stillness and listen from away from the outside voices, but give ourselves permission to listen to what our true needs are and wants are, and to be able to put them down, pen to paper, and see them. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And I thank you for reiterating that it's not about perfection. It's not about, the I's dotted and the T's crossed, but it's allowing that flow to happen. And sometimes that flow is what we're so afraid of. It's that fear of flowing.
And what do you
So
think the fear is? Like you say, that's what we're fearful of, because things will change, because
it's the
we
unknown,
might
I would think.
disappoint somebody. Like what do you think it is?
I think it could be different for everybody. I think the fear could be stemmed from not giving into or not being what someone else thought you should have been in life. It could have been, not realizing your own self expectations or your own self worth based on all the things that have happened around you while growing up, or the fear of the unknown. You just don't know who you are and not clear on what you want out of this life. So you just do the things, you put one foot front in front of the other, and then you get to a point in life where you're like, what happened? Where did life go? And that's because you've been doing all the things because you don't know who you are. And when you stop and you're like, who am I? And that's not like the, who am I? But it's about like, what is it that I want to leave in this life and lead and be in this life, right? And I know in some of the circles that I speak with, that clarity isn't there. And it's like, well, if I don't have that clarity, then I'm just going to keep doing the things that I'm going to do. And then the
Right.
resistance comes in, right? So
Right.
there's that's a whole therapy session, Laura.
Well, and just so folks know, you don't have to be, you don't have to, I say this to myself and all my clients all the time. I say, just tell your ego you're not changing anything. You're just researching.
I love that. I love that
So
because it takes the fear away from it, right?
yes,
It takes the
yes,
fear,
yes. So
right?
you can bring in the joy journal. And just like, this isn't serious. I'm just playing. I'm
Just
just
play.
doodling. I'm
Yeah.
just doing a little gratitude. I'm just playing. I'm just seeing what this might do. Take the because the ego is looking for the fear factor, right? It's always like,
Right.
I need to protect her. It's actually a great tool if we know how to utilize it. It's like, how do we protect her? So you have to calm it down. You're like, no, it's good, we're good, it's okay, we're just researching, we're just doodling a little bit, we're just writing a little gratitude, we're okay.
Yeah.
And so dipping your toe in, playing, or like, there's nobody's timeline fits your timeline. We
Right.
all, that's the whole point, is it's okay to if you were to go back to your little self, your 2-year-old self, your 3-year-old self, did anybody have to convince you, who you were? No, you just, I don't know, you just played.
You
You
just
just
did. Yeah.
you just played. I don't know how else to say it. A ladybug, you could hang out with the ladybugs all day. I spent hours with the frogs.
Yeah.
Love frogs. Love them. Then what were you doing? What do you mean? What was I doing? I was with the frogs. Like, I don't know what else to tell you because that's what I wanted to do. That's what
Yeah.
felt right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we do have memories of that freedom
Mm,
when we were little.
yeah.
And so even if you have to just do a little daydreaming back to what did you do when you were little? Well, you skipped, you skipped in the street, you giggled, you laughed, you played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
important to remember.
remembering that the freedom
Yeah.
of that, right?
Freedom.
That's
Yeah.
that's where it that's where it feels good again.
Yeah. Love that. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm looking, we've gone overtime.
Oh, have we? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
no, but this is good. Before we go, where can people find you? On Instagram or website?
Yeah, Instagram, it's Hot for Success. That's the easiest, I think. The
Just
website,
find it.
we're still figuring out. It's like a reroute, so you have to put the whole thing in, but you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hotforsuccess.com, but you have to put the HTTPS
Okay.
www dot in there, because it reroutes to my other site
Okay.
right now. So that'll get fixed soon.
Yeah.
And yeah, Hot for Success. That's pretty much the
The
most
fastest way to
recent.
get to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. The quickest line to get to Laura
Quickest
is find
line.
her on Instagram at Hot for Success. And I tell you, you will not be disappointed. She is a true joy to watch and creep on Instagram because that's what we all do. That's what we all do.
Love it.
But you have been an absolute delight to chat with, Laura. And thank you so much for joining me on the Martini Glass. I'm so, so grateful.
Thank you.